What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of 10 Count Wrestling. I'm your host, Kaden. I'm joined by Tamara, as always, and we are here to talk about AEW Dynamite. We got a lot to talk about. We got a real good show. Tamara, how'd you feel about Dynamite tonight?
It was there was I feel like a lot happened on the show, but it was very exciting from start to finish. We got a lot of storyline development in this show, so I'm excited to go through each match and kind of dissect it.
Yeah, let's get into it. We started with Dax Harwood taking on Cash Wheeler in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifier. I was so excited for this match. FTR is my favorite tag team. I love them. Their matches with the Briscoes, both their matches with the Young Bucks, they're so freaking good. And I really was excited to see this. Cash has only worked, I think, 5 singles matches in like 3 years. I think they said something like that. His first singles match in 2 years. So he doesn't work singles a lot. So I was really I wanted to see what they were going to do here. And man, they did not disappoint.
Yeah.
Dax Harwood won with the cradle, getting that kind of inside package there for the victory. And I really liked the finishing sequence of this match too. I'll talk about it a little later. Tamara, how'd you feel about this opening match with CM
Yeah,
Punk
I
in
was
commentary?
yeah, I did notice that CM Punk came out, did the whole entrance to do commentary. I was excited for this match, just because, like he said, he doesn't do a lot of singles matches. FTR are very passionate about tag team wrestling in general. They always have been. So you don't really catch them doing singles a lot, and they're dedicated to each other. Dax, he almost lost the match because he was showing a little bit of sympathy to Cash, with a leg injury, but he did eventually get the win. Um, I think either going with it either way would have been fine. Not that they're interchangeable, but both of these guys can go. Both of these guys deserve a win. Both of these guys are good. I like the finishing sequence as well. I like the fact that it wasn't like a brutal, definitive like 1, 2, 3 or tap out. It was kind of like an inside cradle a sequence kind of finish. So I like that. It just shows that they're one and the same, and as much as they are a team, they're just as good as each other. Like nobody's the weak link. So I liked that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just really thought they had such a good match, like the chemistry that they had. And then thinking about going for that sharpshooter, he knew he couldn't do it. He wasn't going to just destroy his best friend, his brother's knee like that. And he ended up getting the win at the end, so it didn't cost him. But I thought that was a nice little touch that they added there, and then embracing each other at the end. No love lost there. And yeah, I thought this was a
Yeah.
really good way to open up the show and just get everybody there, like real hyped up for Dynamite.
Yeah, and it's good that Cash didn't win that way, because I mean it would have just looked bad if your friend is showing sympathy for you and then you inside cradle him and win. Everybody's like, so I'm glad that Dax was able to reverse it and get the win on his own.
Yeah, exactly. So next up, we had the Blackpool Combat Club taking on the Factory, QT Marshall, Aaron Solo, and Nick Camarado. I think a lot of this time was probably added a little bit because Hangman got COVID, so he was not there. I hope he feels better soon. So I think they had to maybe add some time here a little bit. But I thought this was perfectly fine, nothing special. It's what you're expecting out of the BCC matches right now. You're not looking for fantastic in-ring work. It's right now getting over Wheeler Yuta, getting him those wins, letting him look like a beast and a badass. And I thought that was a really good job they did tonight with Nick Camarado. That's a guy that you can use where he's let's be real, he's a jobber in AEW, but he's big. And Wheeler Yuta needs wins over bigger guys. I think that's his biggest weakness right now is he has not gotten those big top tier wins. Whether or not Nick Camarado is a jobber, he's still massive. 280 something pounds is what he's billed at. So I thought that was a really good win for Yuta. Moxley, Danielson obviously looked great. I really liked QT Marshall doing the yes and then flipping him off. I thought that was a really nice touch that they did, but I
That's
thought
true.
this match did exactly what it needed to do.
That was funny. I actually forgot about that. Yeah, I like the fact that Yuta got a nice pop when he came out. in front of his crowd. And like you said, he needs wins. He's a star on the rise. I think they're just trying to like associate him with some big people who can like help him get wins, who can give him the rub. He can rack up W's. I'd expect to see him either in the ROH like title division, or maybe he's winning like the TNT championship. We'll see. But for right now, I'm enjoying the ride. He's definitely on a hot streak right now.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing with Wheeler Yuta. I'm a massive fan of him. I was posting online. Everybody's freaking out about Nikita Lyons on Twitter. I was like, no. Give me Wheeler Yuta. That is an attractive man right there. I love me some Wheeler Yuta.
Listen, man, I can't cheat on Hangman like that.
I mean, I like Wheeler Yuta. I like him. He's a good looking man, and I like his in ring work. I think he's looking really good so far, and I'm excited to see what they do with him and where they can go, because I think they built him up really well so far. Now it's a matter of what happens next. Where is the next step for the BCC? Where do they go from here?
Facts.
Next, after that, Tony Schiavone was backstage with Britt Baker, Tony Storm, and Jamie Hayter. And Ruby Soho came in, kind of teasing a tag match between the four. Ruby saying, let's fight. Like you're insecure. You're always making fun of everybody new coming into the company. Let's go at each other. So that kind of got teased. They're not doing that next week on Dynamite. I think they could do it on Rampage, because the week after is when they're starting the Owen on Long Island. So they have one more week before they have to do that. But and considering next week on Dynamite, we have the ROH Women's World Championship match. So I think they could be doing that next week on Rampage. But I'm really excited for this match. Be a good match.
Yeah. I am too. I like the line when Rebecca was like, "I'm gonna go to your home, sweet home," meaning catering. I thought that was a pretty good diss. That's the main part that stuck out for me. Yeah, I'm excited for the match.
We got two friends of the show in here. Bad Guy Jack, who was on 10 Count Wrestling last week. We were talking about WrestleMania, saying, hey, beautiful people. And this guy, Storm, also known as David Sanderson.
Yo.
He's complaining, Tamara, about your camera. He's saying that you're not in shot, but I don't care what he says.
I'm not in shot. Your mom's not in shot. How about that?
Exactly. No one cares about VGS. So... Next up, we have Lance Archer taking on Wardlow. Before the match, MJF and Shawn Spears in their press box, what they've been like they did last week for Wardlow's match against the Butcher. He said MJF said something about Philadelphia women. I'm not going to comment on that. And then Wardlow came out, no music, handcuffed, dragged there by the security, like they've been doing. And Wardlow and Lance Archer like had a really good match. That was good. That was one of Wardlow's probably I would say that's probably my favorite Wardlow match so far.
Yeah. And he's still coming out with Jake the Snake. I thought they were cheesing like a split with them, so that'll be interesting to see with that. But yeah, like I said, this was like a show that really was heavily forwarding storyline. So the storyline with MJF and Wardlow is probably one of, if not the best storyline they have going. I'm not gonna lie. Not even the world title story I think is better than this. It's interesting because they had Wardlow come out without the music, but he still got a good pop, and it's interesting to see like the organic way that the fans react to him. So yeah, I'm excited, especially because we know who his next opponent's going to be, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, Wardlow looked real good in this match. Like he looked like an absolute beast,
and this was a good guy to beat in what's his name?
In Archer?
In Archer, yeah. I was about to say Jake the Snake. He didn't fight Jake the Snake.
God forbid he fights Jake the Snake. Getting out of the blackout and turning it into that pin, I thought that was good. And then the senton, like an absolute monster senton.
Yeah,
Wardlow showing he should be in the cruiserweight division.
We love some big guys in the ring. Big meaty men.
Big meaty men slapping meat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this was good.
We're gonna have some more big meaty men slapping meat next week.
Oh yeah, we got more. Yeah, after the match, Wardlow gets taken back out with the handcuffs, all that. So next we had the JAS, the Jericho Appreciation Society, And I didn't like the last time that they came out together. I didn't realize that Daddy Magic, Matt Menard, comes like his little intro that he says is like a parody of the old 1990s WWF intro, where
Oh,
it's like serving the World Wrestling Federation, serving wrestling fans for over 30 years.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I was watching old WWE or WWF recently, so I caught that and I was like, oh, that's really funny. And there were a lot of like really good gags in here. They call him the AEW Galaxy. He says there's not going to be any physicality in the ring. I was dying.
AEW,
The
that
AEW
right.
Galaxy got me. I was dying. And then Eddie, Santana, Ortiz come out. They toss the chairs out the ring.
They were struggling
And
to toss some chairs, by the way. I noticed.
yeah, this promo was a little weird. Like it felt very like non-scripted. Like it felt like Eddie, Santana, and Ortiz were not scripted, but it felt like everybody else was. I don't know if Daniel Garcia's part didn't feel scripted. Jericho's part did. But like when Daniel Garcia came in, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I liked that. I like what Daniel Garcia is doing here. I think it's getting him a really good spot because he's so talented and he needs it. I think it's a great spot for him. And Eddie admitted to killing people. Eddie admitted that him, Santana, and Ortiz have killed people. And then they left the ring and he said, I'll kill you too, Chris.
There's a lot of cold cases that can be dusted off.
He's Marty Jannetty admitting that he killed somebody.
Yeah, back in the day. That's a long story. Yeah, this I felt like this segment was out as well. Um, didn't really know what the fuck was going on. They were struggling to throw chairs. At times, like they seemed like parts were scripted and parts were not, like you said. Like they
Yeah.
seemed flustered, like they didn't really know what they were saying, or they were just trying to go off the top, or maybe it was scripted and they forgot lines. Like whatever the case was, it definitely fell off. But I mean, regardless, I want to see
It's Eddie
the
Kingston. Like
yeah.
he can say whatever the fuck he wants, and it's gonna be great because it's goddamn Eddie Kingston, partner.
There's a squad car outside my window because the world is cold.
New York.
Bundle up. And Eddie's from New York, so
Eddie Santana or Ortiz be out there in New York. That's where they're putting the bodies. They're underneath your house.
that's where they're going right now. They're going to.
They're gonna go get
Pick up
Eddie.
the bodies.
Eddie admitted it. And they're like, oh, we're coming for Eddie.
They're on their way to a Yonkers.
Partner. It's Eddie.
Nice.
Eddie, like he's like, look in my eyes because that's where I live. Oh, Eddie. Every time Eddie gets me, so good. And speaking of good, like they continued, like we're rushing through the show a little bit because there's a lot of like really good shit on the show. Just a lot of like good wrestling. This was a very wrestling heavy show and I loved it. This was such a good show. So next up, we had Hikaru Shida taking on Serena Deeb in a Philly street fight. And man, I thought this was great for a lot of reasons. The biggest takeaway I have is one, the two biggest takeaways is one, Deeb is finally going to get her title match, which I'm really excited to see her get. She deserves it. She's so good. Her and Rosa at Double or Nothing will be fantastic. The second thing I really liked was this was not an AEW typical hardcore type match. Usually in the AEW hardcore type matches, they like to do their spots. They use the gimmicks to create spots. They're very much gimmick heavy. This did not feel gimmick heavy. This felt like it was a wrestling match that had the gimmicks in it, like just as a supplemental thing to it, which if you're doing a street fight, I think that's the best type of street fight. And that's sort of like part of how I felt with Moxley and Kenny Omega. And that's why that's my favorite death match I've ever seen is Kenny and Mox, because of what they did with telling a story, but like not just doing spots for spots sake, besides like the spider web, which is the only issue there, but they used everything in a way that made sense, that was there for a reason, while also having a great wrestling match in the ring. And I loved it. I liked her, Deeb throwing the flower in her eyes. I thought worked really well. Hikaru Shida ran like just swinging the kendo stick to try to get a shot in wherever she could. The chair, like using the chairs to block the rising sun, I think is what it's called. The move by Shida. I don't remember like the kick, the roundhouse kick sort of move that she does. To block that was really good. the detox onto the chair. Like,
Yeah.
everything was so good about this match, and I loved it. It's like
And she
I
had
really
the
like this match.
and you could tell, I mean, they were in their fight and Deeb had like a big like just bump gash kind of thing under
Mhm.
her eye at the end when they raised her hand and she won and she just had like the thing under her eye. It was kind of bad. She had her Britt Baker moment when Britt Baker had the blood going down and she won the match. Yeah, that was like that was her moment. Um, the crowd didn't care for this match.
Yeah, I thought they were a little dead at points,
Yeah,
which I didn't think the crowd
not
was.
only
For a Philly crowd, the crowd was not great tonight.
I was gonna say the crowd in general. I don't think it's the crowd in general was just they came alive for the main event. I was kind of surprised
Mhm.
at how much they were into that. But yeah, the crowd was into it, and it kind of made it because when you because again, it's like you said, it's gimmicks. But they're meant to work into the match and pop the crowd. And when they don't, it almost falls flat and feels weird. So I don't think the crowd did this match any favors, but the match itself wasn't bad. I mean, these are two of the best wrestlers in the world, so they're gonna do a good match. But yeah, I felt like the crowd kind of screwed this match over.
Yeah, that was the only issue I had with it, was just the crowd was not where I wanted them to be. But backstage, we've got MJF, and he basically teases that they're bringing in the former Big Cass W. Morrissey to face Wardlow next week. He says he's bigger than you, he's smarter, he's taller than you, he's smarter than you, and you can't teach that, which
Hmm.
we all know it's going to be W.
We know who it
Morrissey.
was.
I'm
Um,
interested. I'm interested.
maybe we see Enzo too. Who knows?
God, no. Please, no. No, 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 no. We don't need Enzo. Just Morrissey.
We got a couple
Morrissey
haters.
did like okay work in Impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a quick little
So we're gonna
backstage
have some
segment.
more big meaty men.
Big meaty men. Next, we had the House of Black. Fuego del Sol's just dead.
Yeah.
And then
Rest in peace.
Malachi, Brody, and Buddy come up and surround him. And then Malachi goes to remove Fuego's mask, and there's Alex Abrahantes in the ring, and says that they've now been that it's their time to be blindsided. And then Penta and then Pac come out. They think Alex is in the ring, and then Alex comes out, and then Ray Phoenix is who's left standing in the ring. Ray Phoenix is back. Finally, he's been gone since like late January, I think, is when Jurassic Express won the titles, which is when
He
Phoenix
had
got
like a
injured.
broken arm, right?
Yeah, I think so, something like that, like a torn. He had a tear, or maybe it was just separated. I forgot what it was, but man, I'm excited for Phoenix to be back. Like that's gonna. I don't know when they're gonna do that match. I would expect they might do that soon, or they could save it to Double or Nothing and be fine. Like we're 4 weeks away. You can save it to Double or Nothing if you wanted to, but it's gonna be great. Like that's what we've been waiting for. Like that was supposed to be the match at Revolution. It wasn't supposed to be the Redwood. It was supposed to be Phoenix, and then Phoenix got injured, unfortunately. But
I'm glad we're seeing
gonna
more
get
of Death Triangle,
it.
especially because Pat got stuck overseas, and then you had the injury with Ray Phoenix, and it
Yeah.
just seems like a lot was set back for that stable. But I'm glad they're back. Speaking of injuries, I think Darius Martin is out with an injury as well.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to
Again,
talk about that when we got to the Undisputed
yeah,
Elite match, which is, I think, next.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Right before that, we get a announcement that Swerve Strickland will face Darby Allin in an Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifier on Rampage. And I'm assuming they're going to put over Swerve in that. Considering Darby just got a big win, he doesn't need it.
Yeah, I mean Darby is kind of like the rite of passage for new guys.
Yeah, I could see like maybe Starks cost Swerve, but I think they're done with that. I think they're gonna probably put Swerve in some singles because they're putting Keith Lee back into singles a little bit, and then Swerve and Hobbs look like they're gonna go after Jurassic Express's titles. Which
I'd like to see it.
That's a good tag team. That's a good like little filler match until we get whatever tag match is going to be a Double or Nothing. Which I don't know what they're going to do at Double or Nothing yet. I think FTR, but man, they're building up some good shit right now.
Yeah, there's a lot cooking.
Yeah, it's good because I think a lot of AEW can sometimes be a little predictable because of how we are as fans. We're like, oh, we can plan this out because we know Tony Khan likes to give fans what they want. So when we're expecting something, that's why we can expect things so often. Right now, I have no idea what's going to happen
I feel as
because
if there's a lot of unpredictability in what AEW does, just because they tend to be like it's hard to predict what they do just because they tend to do a lot all at once, if that makes sense.
somewhat, but when I go to predict pay-per-views, I usually get almost every single match right because I know where they're going next.
Hmm.
Because as those fans, we know, okay, this is probably what the storyline is going to be next because that's what we would want, and
Well, I
usually that's
think
where
we
Tony
know what the
goes.
storyline is going to be next. I just don't think we know exactly when
Yeah,
they're gonna like. Remember when Britt faced Thunder Rosa, like
yeah.
that first match they had at the show we went to, Revolution. I think a lot of people thought that Thunder was gonna win at that pay per view.
Hmm.
Even though this kind of goes against my point because I was like, she's probably gonna lose. But going into it, I did think she probably would have won. So, just because you don't really know at what time, but we all knew Thunder was
Yeah.
gonna win eventually.
Yeah, but like what I was saying is like I think right now I think there's a decent amount of uncertainty because we do have Hangman and Punk first match announced for Double or Nothing. I don't know who's winning that. I think it could honestly go either way at this point. I think it'll just
Um,
I think it's I would put the belt on Punk because I think you should do Punk and Kenta at
they had him
Forbidden
beat
Door.
Danielson, so they're probably not gonna have him beat Punk.
I think it's like if you want to build him as your guy, you put him over Punk.
Well,
That's
the
the
thing
question.
is,
Does Tony want to does Tony want to go all in on Hangman? And
I
that's the
think he did
question.
go all in on Hangman, and if I'm being honest, I don't
I
know if
don't
it
think
all
he
the way
did.
worked. He had him beat Danielson, and he's pretty much had clean
But
wins.
like he beat Danielson once. The first match went to a tie.
Well,
If
he
you're
would.
going all in on him, you have him beat Danielson in the first match they have.
Well, anybody beating Danielson, you're strapping the rocket to that person.
Yes, but you're also the champion. Like
Yeah,
he
that's
was
what
the
I mean.
champion, which like they prove it. But if this is your guy, I think you have him beat Punk. I don't think it hurts Hangman at all to not beat Punk, but I think it proves to a lot of people. I think it proves to a lot of the haters that were like, "Oh, Hangman's not the guy. He's not a championship guy." If he really is not that, then I think that's when you have him lose to
Well, let's
Punk.
be clear. Hangman is a championship guy, and the haters are stupid, and nothing proves to them anything because they're just dumb.
I
So,
I think Punk
fuck haters.
winning that I think it sort of proves it. Because you're put like
Proves
this
what though?
also it's so counterintuitive to a lot of what people say about AEW. AEW puts over the young guys. They don't put over the part-timers, the older guys who are on their way out. They don't
Yeah.
get the
Well, Punk's
championship
not a part
matches.
timer, but I see what you
Punk's
mean.
not a part-timer, but he's 43, 44. Like he's
Yeah.
old.
So
And
is
that's
Jericho.
yes, but Jericho was the first champion and then because you needed that, he was the first guy you needed to get that. And Jericho lost to Eddie, and Eddie's older, but he's put over Eddie, put over Orange Cassidy. He put over MJF. He's put over guys.
Mhm.
And Punk so far
He put
really
over
like he
MJF.
technically put over MJF, but then he won the rematch, which I don't love. And then like him beat I don't want it. I don't mind. Like I wouldn't have an issue with you going all in on Punk and doing a Summer of Punk with the championship because I do think he has like if he is gonna do a run, he has one run left in him. So I think if you're gonna do it, you do it now. But I would just I would go all in on Hangman. I would put everything
I
on
wouldn't
him,
hate that. I
do
mean, I'm a
Punk,
Hangman fan though.
and
I like
I would
Hangman.
have like if someone's beating Hangman, I think it needs to be somebody younger. I still think MJF should be the person to beat Hangman.
Well, I always say I want a Hangman to lose to a big guy. I was thinking Miro takes the title of Hangman.
I
That's what
don't
I
mind
would have
that.
done.
I don't mind if you want to do Miro. I don't mind that at all. Do
Yeah,
Miro
I
next,
would do Miro if I'm
but I
honest.
wouldn't.
Or if you really want to go balls to the wall, I would do Wardlow.
That's possible.
Yeah,
I
but they're
just
both
don't.
babyface.
I don't think you should put the title on Punk. I don't think he needs
That's
it.
fair.
I don't think he needs it. I think
But the good thing about it
Hangman
is
needs
I'm
to
not
win way
particular
more.
either way. Both are good
Yeah,
scenarios.
both are fine. It's just mainly
Um,
about what I think is needed more.
yeah. If I'm Khan, you can have Hangman beat Punk, and then you can have Miro beat Hangman on his return. Because Miro should get a title match. I mean, he held the TNT title for so long, and he has a good record. Why not, insert him into the world title picture? Have him get some wins, and then face Hangman.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. So next we have the Undisputed Elite: Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, with Cutler taking on the team of Dante Martin, Lee Johnson, Brock Anderson, Brian Pillman Jr., Griff Garrison, and then Julia Hart there as well. And yeah, so you kind of talked about it earlier. Darius Martin, unfortunately, has got another leg injury, which is what he just had. I don't know if it's the same leg. I don't know. They haven't really said much, just that it's leg. It's a leg injury, which really, really sucks. Like he just came
Yeah.
back on March 2nd, and he's already back out.
Yeah, that's a kick to the gut. That sucks.
Yeah.
I hope he gets better. I like Darius Martin. I like his brother. I was excited to see them in the tag division, because Dante kind of got a set off when he got his title match and lost.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess either he works with the stables, or maybe he goes back to single action. Maybe he feuds with Scorpio. I don't know. But yeah, I just wish a speedy recovery for Darius.
Yep. Yeah, and this was a pretty basic match. Nothing really great, just to put over the Undisputed Elite here, give them a big win, all five of them together. A 4-way BT trigger, and then Adam Cole lowering the boom, getting the pin on Lee Johnson. And then after the match, everybody puts their shirt, like the Undisputed Elite shirts on, and then we go backstage, and Santana and Ortiz are down to the parking lot, and Jericho blows a fireball in Eddie Kingston's face. So how'd you feel? Like, let's first talk about the Undisputed Elite, and then let's go into the fireball. How'd you feel about the Undisputed
We'll go
Elite
into
squash
the
match?
Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah.
So I liked the match. I'm a fan of the Varsity Blondes. I like their matches. I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion. I don't see a lot of people kind of say that thing, but I always feel like whenever they have a good a match, they always tend to have a good showing. Especially Brian Pillman Jr. I think they're a bit underrated, so I like to see them. Um, yeah, the match was fine. I'm glad that the Undisputed Era are able to get wins. Where do it? Because I know Adam Cole, he lost his title match, so it is what it is. I want to see, maybe I'd like to see a little bit more of Cole by himself. Not that I don't like the Bucks, not that I don't like O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. I would like to see, O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, maybe like you said, go like win the tag titles. Young Bucks, we can wait for Kenny to come back and see what they do with them. But I want to see more of Cole by himself.
Yeah, I think they could be putting the titles on Red Dragon sometime
Yeah,
soon, and then do Bucks and Red Dragon down the line. I don't think, like, I think a
that
lot
would
of
be
people
good.
were expecting it to maybe happen at Double or Nothing, but with Forbidden Door, I think it stays for a little later, and you do it at a different time. And that's another like big piece of information here is we got Forbidden Door. So what are they doing with that? Because the Elite can't
Yeah,
break up until after that show.
that's so true. That's so true. And I don't see the elite ever really breaking up, so to speak. I think they might break into their own sub factions, but the Young Bucks are lost in the sauce. What do they do? They gotta wait for Kenny,
I think,
or
yeah, they're
or if
waiting for
you
that
really
six
want,
man.
I wouldn't hate if they put them with Hangman if they reunite them. Um,
I
I
think they're
think I said,
waiting for the Kenny
yeah,
Bucks versus because I think they expected Kenny to be back for Double or Nothing. Originally, that's
yeah,
what was supposed to happen. Kenny should have been back by now. And I think they wanted him to come
they
back by
haven't.
Revolution, and they couldn't get there. And so I think Kenny could be back by Forbidden Door. But if they're doing that
Yeah,
six man, I expect that six man to come at all out.
at least that would
Yeah,
be hopeful.
that's probably the
I can't
earliest they
remember what
could.
week it was. I think Hangman picked Jurassic Express as his tag partners, and I
Yes.
was like, bro, I'd like to see like him pick, like it would have been cool if he waited like for it to be a surprise, and then it came out and it was the Young Bucks, and then his
It's
teammates were the
not.
Young Bucks,
Yeah,
and they.
like it would be
But you
cool,
gotta
but
have Kenny
it's not
around for
time
that kind
yet.
of thing. You
It's
gotta
not.
have
Yeah, it's
Kenny
not
around.
time.
So I think the Young Bucks are kind of lost in the sauce till Kenny comes back. In
Yeah.
terms of the Great Balls of Fire, that was that was odd. Um, yeah, I mean I want to see the match, but yeah, another odd
It's
segment to
sports
me.
entertainment.
Gotta love it.
Yep. So we had the main event: Scorpio Sky taking on Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship in a ladder match. And yeah, there were some good spots in here. Scorpio getting the win, getting back that TNT Championship. Sammy Guevara getting booed real bad. He's a heel, and Scorpio's a
One
face.
hundred percent. And you know what's so great about it? Because and this is what people like The Miz. This is what people like Randy Orton. This is what people like. Well, I would say MJF to a certain extent, but this doesn't really apply to him. This is what they have figured out that Sammy has figured out. It's you need to be the you that they expect you to be. Because truthfully, it's easy to become invested in a character when you already feel like that person is that way in real life. People already feel like The Miz is a privileged prick who gets everything handed to him and is cocky. So he does that on TV because you're going to buy into it because you believe that about him anyway. Ronda
Mhm.
Rousey did that when she's like, oh, wrestling's fake and you guys suck and I'm the real deal. They already felt like she didn't respect the business and she just walked in for a paycheck. So why not be that on TV because they're going to believe it anyways, right? Sammy, everybody thinks I cheated on my fiance and then I got with Tay and now I'm throwing it in their faces and I'm cringe, blah blah blah. Okay, then I'll be that and I'll make money off it and you'll eat it up because you want to hate me anyway. A lot of people are saying I hate Sammy because of this, this, and this. I'm like, yeah, but he's doing that on purpose to get you to buy in. Oh, you didn't want us involved in your relationship. Now you're throwing it in our face. Yeah, because you did it anyways. So now I'm gonna make money off of it. Like, what don't you understand? So I am honestly enjoying watching Sammy and Tay on this power trip that they're on. It's interesting. Sammy's gonna be a great heel. They're gonna be a great like kind of tag team duo. Him, Sammy,
Mhm.
and Tay. I liked the spot when the girls were on their backs and they were climbing up the ladder. Like it's cool, it's fun. I like it. And the fans are eating it up. They hate Sammy. They love to boo him. Him losing was probably best just because like you guys saw the match. The crowd was cheering heavily for Scorpio Sky, who was meant to be a um heel, but they kind of did a double turn in the midst of this feud because it kind of had to happen that way because of the
Mhm.
way things played out in in real life. So yeah, I'm glad that the change happened because the crowd was really it would have deflated the crowd if Scorpio lost. So I was really hoping. I was like going into this, I probably expected Sammy to win, but with the crowd reacting the way they are, I really hope that that's not the case. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm happy with it. I hope
Yeah.
that they do open challenges now that Scorpio's a face. But he did come out the heel tunnel, so I don't know if they're just gonna keep him a heel since they're just gonna go away from Sammy. But do open challenges, please. That's what the TNT title should always be for. I like open challenges. Do that. And yeah, that was it. Frankie Kazarian comes out to celebrate with him, and we're probably gonna get that match
Wow, I forgot about
soon.
that. That's gonna be. I liked that storytelling as well.
Yeah.
They were the first tag champions together, along with the Fallen Angel. So, yeah, I'm excited for that match. I wouldn't mind Frankie Kazarian TNT title run as well.
I would. I don't think you should do it.
I would like it. I
He's
like
like
Frankie
40. He's
Kazarian.
45. Like he put people over. He's there to put people over.
Ageism. I'm kidding.
You no, I'm sorry. I will stand by. You. Don't put the title on people that are like at the end of their careers unless it's meant to elevate somebody else, which it's not. Like
um.
Kaz shouldn't get it. He should lose to Scorpio.
How old is Scorpio Sky?
Scorpio's like 38.
Oh, okay.
He's older, but Scorpio,
I mean,
like
he's got
they've
years
planned
left.
it. Kaz
I mean,
Kaz is at the end of
Frankie
his
Kazarian
career.
could have years left if he wants to, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have as long as Scorpio.
No, Kaz is in kind of the same place as like what Christopher Daniels sort of a Colt Cabana. Like they're not gonna win tons of matches. Like Kaz gets a lot of like the squash wins over on Dark and Dark Elevation, but whenever he comes over and wrestles on Dynamite, he's usually losing.
Do you want to see Christian get a title?
Oh no.
Okay.
I think I want heel Christian. I'd like to see that, and I think we needed to see Jungle Boy and Christian at
I thought
Double or
that would have
Nothing or All
happened
Out.
sooner. We gotta
I
keep in
thought it
mind
would because
that.
I thought they were losing the title sooner.
That's true.
I didn't think they'd hold on to the titles
I
as long
remember
as
you
they
saying
have.
that. Yeah.
I think they're probably going to drop it to FTR though at Double or Nothing. That's
Oh,
my
I hope
guess.
so. FTR's on a hot streak.
I think
You
you
gotta
got yeah,
strike.
put the title on FTR as soon as you possibly get the opportunity.
Bye
Yeah.
WWE. You're not signing FTR. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you're not signing them. They have another year in their contract. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Like, come on. Or maybe they are. Who knows? People like
No, they
money.
ain't going back. Let's be real here.
Said that about Cody, I think.
No, I said Cody would go back.
Well, not you. Not you. I mean, in general.
I always thought Cody was actually going back. I was like, I think Cody's going.
I thought it was a possibility, but I don't know if I would say that.
I kept having people like David being like, no, never. Cody will never go back. And I was like, no, Cody's going. Like, I just had that feeling. I was like, Cody's going to WWE.
I remember I asked, I was like, oh, do you think Cody is like, should re-sign with AEW? And then somebody was like, you're stupid. He's an EVP. I was like, okay, well, you'll see.
Yeah, we
I
had
was
the
like,
conversation.
that means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But
We had the
see.
conversation
So
at
that
Revolution.
person, fuck you. You had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah,
Just because you're an EVP doesn't mean you can't leave a company. I'm sorry to tell you.
I remember we talked at Revolution about it, and I was like, I think Cody's gonna be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was based on what I know about Cody, it made a lot of sense. I thought it was a very easy decision. He said it was a very easy decision. I remember saying that. I was like, based on what I know about Cody, that's a very easy decision. I think he said that in an interview. So
yeah, he said that in the press conference they did on the morning of WrestleMania Night 2.
More power to him.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was AEW Dynamite. A real good episode of Dynamite, in my opinion. I thought it was fantastic, top to bottom. No, like nothing I thought was bad for the first time in a bit.
Yeah. Like even I would say the low point, unfortunately, was probably the Philly Street fight. But that's
Oh,
just
I
because,
disagree.
what do you think the low point was?
Undisputed Elite. I thought Philly Street fight was fantastic.
Well, it was low point because the crowd didn't react well.
I don't care. I'm just there to watch good wrestling. I don't need the crowd.
A crowd can make or break a match. I'm not gonna hold you.
It can. A crowd can make or break a match. It did not break it for me. I was able to just enjoy myself.
All right. Well, I think that was the point. I can see you saying Undisputed Era though.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you guys subscribe, give a like, share with everybody. Go check out last week's episode where myself and Ron talked about, talked about our experiences at WrestleMania. We both were there. He was on the floor. I was up in the risers. So we both have two different experiences. Talked about both night 1 and night 2. I talked a little bit about ROH and GCW on there as well after my 11 wrestling shows over a span of 4 days, which killed me. I had no voice. I was dead. So go make sure you guys check that out. Go over to Spotify, 10 Count Wrestling. That's where we put up our podcasts that we do in audio only. There's certain stuff that we do there that's different than here. The Dynamite reviews are YouTube only, and usually we'll put our podcasts over on Spotify. But last week's with Ron, I decided to put up on YouTube. So watch it on YouTube, watch it on Spotify, or listen on Spotify. Who cares? It's great content. You can listen to it twice. Make sure you guys go give us a rating over on Spotify. Give us a 5-star rating over there if you like what you're listening to. And come back the next time that we do a show. I don't know if we're doing one next week because I might be traveling. I don't know yet.
Yeah. See you guys on the flip side.
Yeah. Thank you guys.